What is up, Park Hoppers? Welcome back to another episode of the Park Days podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, and I'm here with my co-host, Charity.
What is up, guys?
Today, we're talking about announcements week from last week, where we got all the original house announcements for Halloween Horror Nights 35. We're just going to get right into this episode. We're going to start off with a little segment. I called it Lights, Truss, Construction. It's just talking a quick thing about all the construction work going on in the park for Halloween Horror Nights. We got the trusses up for Club Horror with a tiny DJ booth, which is very interesting. We have the house navigation portals by Men in Black, the Jimmy Fallon bathrooms, and Minion Mayhem. So it looks like we're going to have that same route like last year. There's lights everywhere. And when I mean everywhere, I mean everywhere. It looks like even the New York section might be expanded into Delancey Street, which is going to be interesting if that's the case. There's also a bus-looking stage in Central Park. So
I think you're pulling straws, but it looks like it a little bit.
It looks like it's the start of a bus. It looks like the start of a bus. What kind of bus? The battle bus. Anyways, there's noises coming from the Fear Factor stage. And what I mean by noises, I mean construction noises. So like the saws whirring and everything. They're doing something back there. Huh. There's also Death Eater boxes in Diagon Alley. So
they're everywhere.
Death Eaters are coming back. They're everywhere in Diagon Alley. But that's pretty much it for the construction and anything leading to Halloween Horror Nights. Soon we should be able to get some aerial photos from Bio Reconstruct of facades for the tent houses, which would be really cool to see. I'm so excited. We are going to get right into the originals house announcements. We're going to go in order by the release date.
Yeah.
So first off, we talked about it last episode and the episode before. Jack and Oddfellow, Chaos and Control. That came out on March 21st. Description again, witness Jack the Clown's unholy origins, then enter Dr. Oddfellow's wickedly twisted universe where two of the most powerful forces in horror face off in a death match versus Control. Honestly, you've already heard our opinions. We're going to see Jack's origin, and we're going to see it in full this time. We're going to see Dr. Oddfellow. There's really not much else that we could talk about this house. Yeah, the picture of the release, it is just a picture of Jack and Oddfellow, and it says Chaos and Control. The next thing that we had was released on Monday, June 22nd. Charity, do you want to tell us what that one is?
So on Monday, we got Bloodengutz presents a Halloween Fright-Tacular. So the description for this one is your favorite Maitre
de Macabre.
Yeah, that returns to WKNB with a special Halloween scare-a-thon. Tune into this haunted house, complete with ghouls, gore, and all the frights that keep you coming back for more.
Woo! That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, so the image for this house is a TV. It says Bloodengutz presents a Halloween Fright-Tacular. You've got the little WKNB TV 21 at the bottom. You've got a jack-o'-lantern with a knife stabbed into it. You've got a keyboard with just a finger laying on there. You've got a candy apple with like nails sticking out of it. You've got the VHS tapes on the side. There's the Feaster Bunny. It's something that says thanks, and we think it says thanks killing. You've got Zachariah's and Uncle Sam Wants You as separate DVDs. Or not DVDs. What are they? VHS? Yeah. Sorry, it's been a while. And then towards the left side, you've got a skull that kind of looks like it's turned into a cup. It's got like a little lemon on the side, looking like a drink.
I actually have something to say about that drink a little bit later.
All right, so we got a Bloody Disgusting article interview with Ramon Paradero, which is this house's show director. This house picks up 15 years later from the Holidays of Horror conclusion, where H.R. Bloodengutz has been incarcerated at the Cary Penitentiary since. Um, One of the quotes is, since he's escaping straight from prison and returning to the dialect studio, he tries to piece together his former look as much as he can, but there's a fun little twist to how he looks this go around. He's older because we're able to work with the original actor who played Blood and Guts in 2011 to reprise his role.
That is so cool to get the
It
guy
is.
from 2011 to come back. That's something.
I'm excited to see how he looks. Yeah.
I'm curious,
Um,
especially when he says fun little twist this go around. Is it like the twist just because he's older? Is he like is he tatted up from prison? Like he has like HR but like blood and guts on his forehead or like tattooed on his hands, like BLUDGUTZ, like on his
that would
fist.
actually be really funny. That's I wasn't even thinking that. Or he's like super bulked up now.
No, that's yeah, like I want to know what this twist is.
So, what fans can expect, one of his quotes was, what I'll say about this without giving too much away is there are 7 movies that we're presenting as scenes in the haunted house. 7 movies that are part of the marathon. Some of those movies are callbacks to HHN Pass.
That also sounds so cool. It honestly sounds like Slaughter Cinema, which Slaughter
Yeah,
Cinema back at HHN33 was so good. Slaughter Cinema 2. And it's interesting. These are going to be just Halloween movies rather than just, you know, horror
yeah.
movies. Before you move on, Charity, I want to bring up that he does mention that one of the movies to get an example in like what kind of things we'll see in this house is actually a
Yeah,
black and white zombie film in an old graveyard. What do you mean we're gonna get is
which
this
is
are we gonna
very
get a
interesting.
whole black and white scene with characters in like black and white makeup? Is that gonna be something?
But specifically zombies,
That's gonna be
specifically
scary. That's gonna be
zombies.
scary. I don't like zombies. I've mentioned this. I don't like zombies. That's scary. It's gonna be black and white. Maybe it won't be as scary. I'm wondering if this is going to be like so. Slaughter Cinema is a very campy house. Like it can be scary, but it's also very campy. Like in 33, there was specifically mummy strippers, and the scene for that was it was literally mummy strippers, and the it was like a strip club named The Tomb. It was
Oh,
named The
okay.
Tomb, but it was with
Yeah,
2 O's to look like boobs. And that's, like, very campy, you know? It's funny, it's not serious, it definitely it doesn't take itself too seriously. And I wanna know, is that going to be how they route this, or are they going to, like, actually try to make it scary? Another one that was mentioned in the article, and it was brought up earlier, the that skull with the drink. Apparently, another one of the movies that might be in the house or that should be in the house is like a tropical, like beachy kind of thing. They didn't really say much other than
oh,
like
okay, so yeah, that would
he doesn't really
explain.
say much
Yeah,
other than that there is a Halloween tiki bar scene, which sounds like that's going to be extremely fun to go through.
yeah.
All right, you're good to move on.
Alright, so he also says, in true horror host fashion, you're going to get to see him in video format in between each of these movies, and he's going to essentially usher you into the next movie. And so originally when I read this, I got really scared because originally this house was speculated to be in the Fast and Furious queue, or like the Fast and Furious area. And I did not want this to be like another Chucky because that's what it reminded me of. Because Chucky was awful, and I was really worried about that. But it has now since moved down to a tent, which makes me so incredibly excited and so happy. Um, but outside there he says that we're doing a queue line video for, I guess, outside of this haunted house where they're going to get to see HR and basically learned what happened in those 15 years. And just I think he's going to be talking about some of the movies and like introducing them. Um
Yeah, the article definitely sounds like he's going to basically I wonder, it sounds like he's gonna narrate it, but I think we're gonna see it. I wonder if we're gonna see it visually and show it in like this
yeah,
like almost film like format, which
which would be cool.
we'll talk about the location later on. It looks to be in the same location that Slaughter Cinema was. So if they do something in that same way
Oh, okay.
where it's being projected on a like a film screen or projected onto the old studio, that could work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on about originally being scared for this house, talking about having screens within the house and having him be seen in a video format rather than physically having him usher through the house. I understand if you're wanting to just keep a singular HR Blood and Guts and not have to like do a mask or something to try to replicate what he looked like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm interested. It is going to be scary to have that idea of screens being used heavily in a haunted house.
Well, I didn't realize that in the original house, there were screens too, and so watching the video, I was like, they do it so
Oh,
well.
okay.
It's not like Chucky, where Chucky kind of just like popped in weird places and like said something really like stupid. He's actually like going through and like presenting it in the way like a host would. Like it was done really
Okay.
well,
I'm gonna have to
especially
check it out because
as they take it as like a yeah.
I haven't watched.
They do it as, like, a TV studio, so it's done well, and that's why I'm honestly really excited for this house, um, and I don't know, I think this is my number 1 anticipated house now, just going through doing the research, watching the old YouTube videos from the original house, like, I really am excited for this, especially now that it's in a tent. I Yeah, I hope this is my number 1 house
Yeah.
this year. I'm really
No,
excited.
doing the research, I mean, and learning because I loved Slaughter Cinema. Slaughter Cinema 2, I loved it. It was probably my sleeper house from a few years ago. I remember going through it the first few times and being like, okay, this isn't too much. Like this is fine. And then like as the event went on, the house was hitting and it was hitting and it was hitting. And if it's going to be like that, it definitely brings me up. My fear is how deep into the Halloween Horror Nights lore are they going to try to put in this house? Because that was one thing, like
Yeah.
Welcome to Scary back at HHN30. That was my first anniversary year and my first time really diving into the lore about
Uh,
like Halloween Horror Nights and Cary, Ohio, and all of that. And I was so
in
lost.
Ohio specifically,
And
yeah.
that was the last time we actually saw HR Blood and Guts was in that house. Yeah, I'm super excited for this
But,
house. It's it's high
yeah,
up on
no,
my
I'm so
it's
excited.
high up on my hype list.
Like, seriously, watching that YouTube video and seeing that Easter bunny, like,
The
that
oh,
was
the Feaster Bunny,
terrifying.
he is the
And
Feaster Bunny is terrifying. And they
yeah,
brought the Feaster Bunny this past Easter
and
to Horror Night Unleashed in Vegas, which I thought was really cool.
oh, but I want some like, I want that fear. I wanna be that fear in person, though. I don't want it just through YouTube. I want a good fear.
Yeah.
Well, I think yeah, I think that's about it for HR Blood and Guts. Um, but yeah. Super excited.
Awesome. Tuesday is actually the most exciting Horror Nights announcement we've gotten to date. I mean, out of all 35 years of the event, this is probably the best one. Halloween Horror Nights posted on Twitter saying, LOL, you thought I'd have another announcement today, huh?
There was no announcement.
There was no
I
announcement.
distinctly remember, I don't think I had looked at my phone yet. I was at work when I kind of like got the notification because my phone gives me late notifications. And I saw that and I was like, oh, oh, well, I guess maybe it's not originals week. I was like, I don't know how this works. It was really funny. So I was like,
That that's what I was thinking. I was like, wait, but it's supposed to be originals week. You don't do this. You announce all the originals in 1 week. How is this gonna work?
yeah. Well, because I guess
And
they
yeah,
already announced Jack and
so
Oddfellow, so that they needed
Tuesday,
to skip
June.
a day anyways. So it was very funny. I
That does
think
make sense.
the
That
Halloween Horror Nights
that
Twitter
does make
is
sense.
the funniest thing that ever existed.
Oh yeah, whoever Chad, shout out Chad.
Because it'll be like the middle of the year and I'll get a Twitter notification from Halloween Horror Nights and I'm like, what are you doing awake? Shouldn't you be sleeping? Shouldn't you be resting? Preparing?
Shouldn't you be building your shouldn't you be building your toys for the little boys and little girls?
Is he
I was trying to compare him to Santa Claus. I think Chad is the Santa Claus of Halloween, but
is his name Chad?
we won't. His name is Chad. The demon that possesses the Horror Nights Twitter account is named Chad.
I did not know that. That's actually really
Yes.
funny. Chad.
So if you ever send a tweet out to the Horror Nights Orlando Twitter account, make sure you use the name Chad first.
Oh dang. I'm sure that angers him.
You know, it
It
100%
yeah,
does.
that's so funny. All right.
But even though Tuesday we didn't get an announcement and we were kind of questioning if it was going to be originals week, Wednesday we did get an announcement. So Wednesday, June 24th, we got MADLANDS Caged Cannibals. The description for this house is: in this haunted house, a defunct zoo is now the deadly domain of warring cannibal factions that have taken their own animal instincts to the extremes. They're territorial, they're hungry, and you are lunch. I'm extremely excited for this house. I know my girlfriend is extremely excited for this house.
Y'all are just excited because
We're
I'm
going into a
not.
zoo. No, I'm excited because it sounds interesting. I mean, just like so in true Horror Nights fashion, we got another interview, but this time with Cinema Blend with Laura Souls, who is one of the heads for Halloween Horror Nights and the assistant director of all things entertainment and creative. She says, this idea came out of our yearly brainstorm week where we have scenic designers, character designers, and show directors all come to the table with every idea they can think of. No idea is a bad one. And last April, we had that meeting, and one of our newer scenic designers had this idea for a post apocalyptic zoo that was infested by a tribe of cannibal animals because animals were extinct. Humans are cannibals, and they took on the tropes and traits of the animals that once lived in the post apocalyptic zoo. And everyone in that room said, this is a home run. Something that she notes is that it is going to be one of the bloodiest houses this year. And I mean, that's kind of assume. I mean, I would assume so, since cannibals bloody, they're probably not taking the time to cook the people that they're eating.
Oh,
They're just digging into them,
that's
whether they're dead or alive.
disgusting.
She says no one is safe because guests are trying to get into this zoo to be safe from every other cannibal that is out there, but they don't know that these tribes of cannibals are also in the zoo, which brings up this question that Aili brought up. If we're in this post-apocalyptic world full of cannibals, wouldn't us as the people going through the house also be cannibals? Or is it like we got knocked out and we got transported here one day?
I think y'all are thinking too much into it. Just because, so say it is a post apocalyptic world. not everyone is going to turn into a cannibal. I'm sure we, as people, are running from other cannibals to escape and accidentally run into more cannibals. But I'm sure the whole world isn't cannibals. I'm sure we're our own
I mean,
tribe.
that makes sense.
Yeah, we're our own tribe trying to
We're our
get
own tribe
through.
that's not cannibalistic.
Yeah, our conga
Is,
line.
is this why I don't think we're gonna survive this? Is that why I don't think we're gonna survive this house? Because we're not
Because we're
cannibalistic.
not cannibalistic. And but hey, maybe by the end of it, you do turn cannibal. Cannibal versus cannibal.
Who knows? Who knows? But so it sounds like the tribes are gonna take the traits and they see the old zoo signage and take the things from around the zoo and kind of become these tribes based off of these animals that they've seen. And because this is so far after animals have been extinct, they don't know what some of these animals like what they do. So this is like their assumption of what this animal from what they've learned from the zoo. So it's almost like these tribes of cannibals walked into a zoo together, read all of the like the placards about each of the animals and was like, "Okay, this is how this animal is.
Okay.
So this is how I'm going to act."
So they can read, but they don't know what a lion sounds like?
They probably do know what a lion sounds like.
Yeah, but they can
But
read.
I'm
You
saying
really think
this is
you
so
think in a post apop why can I say a post apocalyptic
a post-apocalyptic.
apop why can't I say that? Post apocalyptic. Why in this post destroyed world do people not know what animals are, but they know that but they're literate? I don't believe that they would be literate, and that's insane.
So
No cannibal is a literate person.
I have you met a cannibal? No. Okay.
I've watched
But
documentaries.
I'm thinking like they still live like just because you're in this cannibalistic post-apocalyptic world, it doesn't mean that they don't have standards or values. Maybe they do. Maybe they do.
Mhm.
Maybe they do have schools. Maybe they have schools for their tribes and they're teaching them how to read and how to write. I mean, how are they writing on the picture that says anarchy and it says the picture
Well,
says
that could have been
run and
before. Well, like
anarchy.
how far how far into this destroyed world are we? Is it 15 years into this? Is it, a couple of months into
And
this destroyed world?
maybe the whole world isn't post-apocalyptic. Maybe it's because I mean they state a post-apocalyptic zoo. It does not state that the whole world is post-apocalyptic, just the zoo,
I
which doesn't
feel
make
like
sense.
if it's a pop never mind. My whole thing goes off.
More into that, she does say because this is so far after animals are extinct, they don't know. They really don't know. They're just seeing what these animals did and from what is left at the zoo.
Which I think
And they're
is
just
an interesting take, and honestly the best take they could have done. So hopefully that means I won't have to hear a monkey.
but they're coming at us strongly.
Which
They're coming at us strongly.
another
They are killing machines, and every person who goes into this house is their prey.
yeah, and
She says that she thinks that this is going to be one of the most aggressive houses at the event.
which is terrifying.
And it's going to be intense. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be in your face, kind of scare level. I mean, yeah, these tribes are literally of it's literally tribes of cannibals and they need to eat. We're their food. Like she says, it's a conch line of food that keeps coming into their zoo.
You know what this makes me think of? When King Kong first opened and they had the cannibals and the walls that would come out and like try to grab you.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. That does sound extremely similar. Based off of everything that we've said, It low key, this house sounds like it's gonna be the smelly house. This is gonna be the house that smells like feces. It's gonna smell like blood.
Aw.
It's gonna smell bad in this house.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, this is definitely
And just so that
not on my top of my list.
oh no, this is definitely also very high up in my list. It's actually right now, I think I have it at number 5 on my
I mean,
list,
I'm excited. She says
maybe.
that it's gonna be like a bloody house. It's gonna be scary. I did say that I wanted scary from this event this year, so you
You
know,
did say that.
careful what you wish for. But this might be a one and done for me though. I'll do it. I'll say this now. I will do it once, maybe
I'm
maybe
I
twice.
I'm so excited. I'm like reading through it. That's one thing, like just reading the base descriptions of these houses. This house was definitely like a seriously, I would have rather a post-apocalyptic like zoo with actual animals and like there was like some like nuclear like I don't know, like zombie animals or mutated animals. I thought that would have been like that's what I thought when I saw
Yeah,
the
plus some type
icon.
of
I do think it is kind of funny how last episode I did bring up what if it was a cult of HHN bear. And I mean, tribes and cults are very similar. They do have their own, like they do have their
it's
distinctions.
a little bit of
They
a
have their
stretch, but I
distinctions,
get what you're pulling from.
and I just think that's very interesting. So on the picture, there is an icon. There is a picture within the picture of a zebra that says downtown zoo on it, and I'm just interested. Are we going to see a tribe for zebra people? Like, are we going to see a zebra people tribe?
Oh, like a whole
Like they're herbivores though, but they don't know that would make a lot of sense. They don't know that they're herbivores.
I'm gonna guess that they're still cannibals, just
Well, no, they're
acting,
cannibals, but
but acting like zebras, like they probably all are like together.
so that it would be like a multiple scare where you'd get hit back to back to back to back to back
Yeah,
because zebras stick together.
yeah.
That would
Whereas
be
like you have like the lion that's by itself, or wolves, or like what animals are in a zoo? You've got like wolves, lions, zebras, monkeys. What else?
giraffes.
Giraffes. I doubt we'll see a giraffe.
I haven't been to a zoo in forever. I mean,
I'm
the
trying to
closest
think.
thing to a zoo I've been to
Animal
is
Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom. There's seals, otters. I don't
Yeah, it just
know.
depends on like what
Tigers.
season. Oh,
There's gonna be
tigers.
tigers.
Tigers. Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know what animals are gonna be in here.
Yeah.
Like I can think like the lions, like I can think the basic stuff. Is there going to be a bear? I think there could be bears. We don't know what zoo this takes place at. Because if this is like the New York Zoo, are we going to see Alex from Madagascar? Because then you would think hippopotamuses, zebras, lions, lemurs, or is this going to be like
That just got
the
me.
Chicago
That
Zoo?
had me speechless, man. Why? Bringing up Madagascar is crazy. Um, yeah,
They like to move it.
I don't think it's gonna be like
And
Madagascar,
maybe these
but
and maybe the and it sounds like these people are going to be moving it into our faces and eating us.
I think they're gonna
So
be eating it. That was
I think
stupid.
so.
That was so stupid. But yeah, this is I don't know.
I'm excited.
I I don't want to see one animal in this house unless it's like on a poster or like a plaque or something that I don't want to see one animal.
All right, let's move on to the next announcement.
All right. All right. So our next announcement what happened on Thursday, the 25th. We got Cybergoria. So the description for this one was awaken thousands of years in the future in this haunted house and brave Cold War driven by machines with a singular goal to make you live forever, even if it kills you. I got chills. Speaking of Cold War, that's crazy.
That's an interesting line.
It is an
To
interesting,
make you live forever
even if
even
it
if it
kills
kills
you.
you.
Because
Because how does that work?
you're not you anymore, you're a machine. So Cybergoria's show director Matt Flood did an interview with Gamer Rant. So in this interview, he says bio-immortal bionic intelligence systems sought to offer their customers immortality. Of course, that dream of immortality required some advancements in technology. So bio-immortal put its customers through a cryo-freezing process to preserve them until the tech caught up with the rest of the world. But in like every horror tech promise, unfortunately, bio-immortal could never deliver on its promise, but its intelligent facility tries to make do with its resources. That means combining human parts with robot parts to try to keep the living tissue going. Yeah, it's going to be pretty gross.
That sounds absolutely disgusting, gross.
Gross, gross. For guests of Cybergoria, the house will take you through that freezing process into the disturbing future where man and machine have melded, and even outside the facility to see what's become of the world. He says, I won't spoil it, but there's a lot more going on than you think. Which one of my favorite things about Halloween Horror Nights houses is when they make the outside. So like you're outside even though you're inside, and you get to like look up and there's like buildings in the background and you can see the sky, and like there's usually something going on. That's one of my favorite things when it comes like that makes it a top rated house for me, is if we go outside in a haunted house.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they're gonna do that and how that's going to play out because if this is where it's supposed to be, it's where Fallout was last year, and
Oh,
it's the one time that you do go outside in
Fallout.
Fallout,
It was just a screen.
it fell out. It wasn't that good. You didn't feel like you were in
You
the
didn't.
in the
Oh
wastelands. It
no.
didn't. But I'm hoping that they learned from that because I feel like that was one of the first times that they really tried making us go from an indoor place to an outdoor place. I don't know.
Well,
I haven't
no, because
seen.
even like in Blood Moon, you go outside.
Oh well, yeah. No, no, I
Everything,
understand. I understand now. I wasn't.
but
I couldn't picture it. I don't know. Like I'm picturing
you meant like from a facility, kind of like how Fallout is, and then going
Fallout was.
outside and it's
Yeah,
just like a red wasteland.
yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. Especially since if it's in the same section as if it's in the same
Yeah.
tent as Fallout.
Oh. See, now that makes me scared. I don't want just like another screen or projection, whatever it was. That's not what I want. He also says if you walked through our Insidious house a couple years back, it was received as a very scary house, and we're applying the same kind of thinking to this one, which again, they're saying that it's going to be a scary house. I hope that it is, because even from like the photo from the announcement, you can clearly see it's this like robotic, head, but then like you can see like the skull of somebody is literally stuffed inside it, because you can see like a little bit of like their teeth and like where their nose would be, and you can see like the top of like where their skull like brain is. And then actually the zoomed out one on Instagram kind of looks like you can see like a metal spine. I think it's going to be gross. I think it's going to be really gross, but I'm
Oh, I think we're in for a very gory
yeah.
year this year.
Especially if they're saying
The
like
houses
Insidious, it's
like
gonna be gory.
well, Insidious wasn't gory. Insidious was just freaking scary. So I went through the Insidious house, and that house wrecked me. Every single time I went through the house, it wrecked me bad. If there is anything like the red curtain room, if you went through the Insidious house, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If there's anything like the red curtain room, this house is going to be terrifying. And I'm a little wary on how much I can believe them saying it's similar to the Insidious house because they also mentioned how last year's Jason house was on that same level of scary as
Ugh.
the Insidious house. And that last room in the Jason house, the last rooms, that was scary, but that was just because they were hitting you back to back to back to back to
Yeah.
back. I'm scared for this house. When I first heard it, I was like, okay. Like this was like my lowest ranking. I was like, I
Yeah.
wow, cyborgs.
I remember seeing it and sending it to you and being like, what is Cybergoria? Like, what is this?
Another thing though that I'm extremely interested in is them mentioning the freezing process.
I think that's
I'm
gonna be
picturing the
cool.
first part of this house. I think the first part of this house is going to be like it's going to be the freezing process, and I think we're gonna. I don't know how to explain it. I can see it
Yeah,
clear in my
which
mind. I do think that this, unfortunately, I have a huge feeling that the facade for this house is just going to be the key art for the house. I have
yeah.
no faith that they're gonna, unless they build a tiny facade that looks like a cryogenic chamber, which I don't even think we're going to be in a cryogenic chamber. It literally mentions freezer bags
Are we just gonna see people, like, in bags? That's gonna be so creepy. That's
in
so
freezer
creepy.
bags. Moving on to our final announcement for the week. We got that on Friday, June 26th, and it is Invasion Alien Abduction. Make contact with horrors from worlds unknown in this haunted house, where a ship full of greys has torn apart a remote homestead in search of fresh test subjects. I'm going to go into this right now. Before anything else, if you guys saw our TikTok about this announcement, you guys saw I was upset about the name. And maybe I was just upset about the name because I was really hoping for Invasion at Lightning Gulch. I was so certain that that was what it was going to be. I was extremely excited. And then seeing this, it basically just took out the whole idea of it being Invasion at Lightning Gulch at all. And there was no way that it's connected. And yeah, we have our interview with the show director, Charles Gray. He did an interview with Nerdist, and full on first disclaimer, he says, not a sequel to the Scare Zone. We didn't want to tie it into anything because most of the event is tied to something or another tale or a prequel or things like that. So we really wanted this to be the first chapter, and we were really excited about that. And then we'll see what happens after this. So it sounds like they want this to be the start of new houses coming in the future. Like they want this to be the beginning of something that we might see in the event
Which I
continue in the future.
I really like. I like that it's not a sequel. I like that it's something new that we're getting. I think that's because yeah, the whole rest of the event is something tying into something already. Like literally the whole rest of the event, except for like Cyborgia. So I'm excited for this.
But see, that's the thing is when I was thinking it being Invasion at Landing Gulch, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be the comedy house. This is going to be funny. It's aliens, which they
Yeah.
do bring up. They do bring up that they didn't want this to be cheesy. They didn't want it to be funny. They didn't want it to be a campy house. They wanted to make sure that this was scary. They
Yeah.
wanted to make aliens scary. Charles Gray mentions, he says, they have this technology in kind of layering out what the aggressors are. So, yes, we have different types of little gray men as you go through Haunted House. You won't see the same character over and over again. We have a diverse group of aliens coming at you. Again, it sounds like it's going to be cool. We're going to see different versions of an alien, and we're not just going to be see the same alien over and over again.
Yeah.
They mention we have these big giant tentacles, and they come out of and then out of those giant tentacles comes out these little organic claws that puncture you and pull you into the ship. So instead of sounding like us getting brought up by a tractor beam, we're going to see some tentacles, which
Which
is unique. And it sounds
is
like
so weird.
it's going to be really gory and really violent. And he says that the reason they did this is because they chose to make this house take place in the Southwest. So they wanted it to have this turquoise cactusy kind of thing to it.
I like that he says cactusy. When I first read that, it made me laugh so hard. I was like, turquoise and cactusy. I'm like, I've never heard the South described like that before. So
So I think that's interesting that we're gonna get this like so that makes sense. These giant tentacles with like almost like cactus spikes. He says they're here to take us, and they don't care what wall they puncture through, what kind of animal it is. They just want to do their experiments or whatever. But that's what makes it violent. They do not care. Goats, cows, and people, it doesn't matter. They're just grabbing them all. They are straight up just taking. It sounds like it's a home invasion which is really scary.
Yeah.
Like that, like I think that's really scary. Like
And then
they don't
yeah.
care.
Yeah.
They Charles Gray says that he believes that this is going to be one of the scariest houses because of the unexpected amount of gore and violence and also the tightness and levels of attack.
Oh my gosh.
They've done
When I read that, he said that it's basically gonna be like a claustrophobe's worst nightmare. And I am. I get so claustrophobic. I get claustrophobic at work, and we've got pretty big we've got a lot of room back there. And yeah, no, this is I'm gonna be scared in this one.
one thing
Gonna be knocking into
being
walls.
claustrophobic, and then another thing, he says that they found a way to make the floors vibrate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that you feel the ship and the power of the scanning lights that are just shaking the house that you're in apart. I think that is so cool. I can feel that, and I know that's gonna scare me. If you're walking in and then you go like you get that right moment when you're walking through the scene and the light like
Me
beam like
too.
shines through like a window or something, and you just feel the floor vibrate going like I genuinely like that would startle me,
Yeah.
especially especially if I didn't know like, now that I know, I kinda wish I didn't know that the floors
Yeah.
vibrated, so then when it happened, I go,
Whoa.
"What?" But now knowing,
That's the difference. I like being prepared.
they
It'll make it a little more tolerable.
but he says that for longtime fans, it has flavors of old HHN, and this is most definitely a love letter to those who've been coming to the event for a long time. He says that he thinks that fans are gonna be like, "Hey, this reminds me of when I first came to Halloween Horror Nights," which is really exciting. I don't think we've had any kind of house that really has that old HHN feel.
Yeah.
And I want to know what he means by like old HHN feel. Does he mean like the 2010s? Because I've heard everybody being like, the houses in 2010, those days were they were really scary and they kind of dulled down on those houses since. And so I'm very interested to see.
But that's what I'm saying. Like even like back with H&R Blood and Guts, like that was a 2011 that was back in 2011. Like I seriously watching through that, I was like, "Oh my god, like this is scary." And that's what a lot of these houses seem like they are following. They seem like very like they're taken aback
It
and,
really
you
does
know.
feel like they're taking this is an anniversary year, so we are going to make the entire event feel like it did back when it started,
Yeah. So,
minus a scare
yeah.
zone.
But yeah, no. That's yeah. All of these originals like I feel like all of them are pretty high on my list. It's going to be hard for the IPs when they come in to
No,
beat the originals on my list right
I'm
now.
sorry. The only IP that's hitting that top 5
It's
is
Stranger
Sinners.
Things, right? No, no, no.
Sinners.
Stranger Things. Stranger Things.
Sinners.
See, I haven't watched Sinners yet, so that's still just not super high on my list. So, like that's what I'm saying. Like all of the
I think
originals right now are, you know, are just even Madlands is, closer to the top for me right now.
Sinners, I don't think is going to be an extremely scary house. I think it's just gonna be fun.
Yeah,
So and it's one of
from
those
what I've
movies that
heard.
it's like I'm excited to experience the movie rather than I'm so excited that for this to be a house because I think it's going to be scary and it's going to knock my
Yeah.
block off and I'm going to be terrified walking through that house. No, I'm excited. I'm excited because it looks like it's going to be fun. We're going to move on to the Horror Nights spec map that has just released where we have a few house changes. I'm just going to run through them. So the speculation for where the Hellraiser house was originally at tent 4, so the pin cushion icon, it
Yeah.
moved from tent 4 over to soundstage 24A, which is very interesting. It's a very interesting choice. No longer is there going to be a second IP in a tent and we only have one IP in a tent. Am I upset that they
Yeah.
didn't swap Sinners and the pincushion? Yeah, like why can't Sinners be in a soundstage?
Yeah, why
But
can't
it's
centers be
fine.
up front? But I think it's just because I think they wanna build the facade. I'm gonna guess they're trying to build the facade outside, and they have to do that with a
Yeah,
tent.
yeah, I I
So,
I agree.
but I'm excited it's in a tent, yeah.
Yeah. So I just recently watched Hellraiser with my girlfriend.
Oh,
So
really?
I'm a little confused on how this movie is going to, but I'll give my opinions once we have all the houses announced and we get closer to the event. We do like a full on post announcements, post
Yeah.
HHN homework. The next one, which is the very exciting one that we talked about earlier, HR Blood and Guts got moved from the Fast and Furious tent or the
Mm,
Fast and Furious house location to tent 2.
two
So now it has moved to where Slaughter Cinema 2 was that one year and where Dolls Let's Play Dead was last year.
yeah.
I'm excited for that. I think putting it in a tent location rather than the Fast and Furious where it is very tight definitely fits.
See, I feel like originally they probably thought Fast and Furious,
It
because
was
Fast
going in
and
the
Furious
exact
houses
same.
are well, Fast and the Furious are usually or I feel like they're very long houses. Like they take a lot. Like the am I making sense? Like Jason's last year, it took forever to walk through. Like it's a very long house.
Yeah, I just my reasoning is because the original HR Blood and Guts house was in the disaster queue, which disaster
Is
was where Fast
is
and Furious is now.
Fast and Furious is
So I think it being in a tent
yeah,
just definitely it brings my hype level up for HR Blood and Guts
yeah.
not being
Because
in this Fast and Furious location.
like like I said, I love tent houses, and I'm excited.
The rock hand symbol, which was in Soundstage 24A, has now been moved into the Fast and Furious tent. This is still speculated to either be Ozzy Osbourne or Black Sabbath. Again, don't listen, don't know anything about them. I'm gonna have to do a
Yeah,
little deeper dive into them once it's announced, just so I know exactly what I have to look into. I don't know how this fits as a Fast and Furious tent house.
yeah. I just Fast and Furious houses the last couple of years have not been good houses.
Nuh-uh. HHN 33, we had Major Sweets Candy Factory. That was an amazing house.
Oh,
But
I
they
wasn't there
also
for that.
used,
I was just I was only there for Chucky, Jason, and now this.
yeah. So who knows? We don't know anything. Cybergoria was moved from tent 2 over to tent 4,
Oh,
where Goblin's Feast was and Fallout was last year.
but again, these are still speculation. It's not.
This is still speculated
Yeah,
locations. I feel like it's definitely getting, now that we have the house announcements, it fits.
yeah, it does. But hey, you never know.
You never know. Something could be moved last minute that we didn't know about. And
And then the
everyone's favorite thing,
woohoo!
Fortnite is still on the map.
Of course it is.
We're so excited for Fortnite, aren't we?
Yes, we are. So
Yeah,
excited.
I think that's all for this episode.
All
Make
right.
sure to comment down below or answer the poll. Which Originals house are you most excited for this year? I think I'm most excited for HR Blood and Guts or Jack and Oddfellow.
I think I'm most excited for HR Blood and Guts. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us.
Be sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes, and also follow at Park Days Pod on TikTok and Instagram.
And until next time, we'll see you on your next park day.
And again, maybe we'll see you in the fog.